All right.
Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody in the On the Chain community out there watching and listening and all that great stuff? I have a question. Is it Ripple or is it XRP? Not sure why people keep confusing Ripple for the XRPL or for XRP, using it interchangeably. Even companies that are building on the XRPL, we're going to get into some of that. And how much will $1,000 in XRP be worth in 2025? You guys answer that one. We got a lot of stuff to cover. That might not be one of them, but we're going to dig in. A lot of really cool tweets from John Deaton and others. We're going to dig in. The SEC, once again, big overreach. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about themselves. Chip, you ready to kick this thing off?
I believe I'm ready. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
I think I have the answer, Jeff. So how much will $1,000 in XRP be worth in 2025? $1,000. I think $1,000 in XRP could be worth $1,000. I don't know.
Might be 500, might be 1,000.
Oh, potentially.
Might be 1,001, might be less, might be more. That's a good one. That's a really good question.
What is talking about here? What a great video. I'm speechless. What's he talking about?
He is speechless. This video is making him speechless. And Sir John, an hour ago, said, Sophie was wondering if there was going to be a show tonight. And Sir John said, well, we'll have to wait the hour. And I said, we'll wait the hour. Let's see what happens.
We shall see. It's always the same, man. You just can go to onthechain.io. Unless you go on YouTube or Twitter and see that, hey, there's no show tonight because Jeff and I get suddenly busy and we can't do it. I mean, one of us has to be here, right? I mean, otherwise it can't be a show. But,
that's right. So
there you go. What were you going to say, Jeff? Go ahead.
I was going to say, so let's kick this thing off.
So what?
What is the first topic that we want to get into tonight that has something to do with a Ripple partner going public in the U.S.?
Yeah, this is interesting. So Nium, which is a Ripple partner, Nium, the CEO, chief executive, plans a U.S. IPO for 2025. So that means that they are Singapore-based payments fintech. It's funny because, like, as soon as you read Singapore-based payments fintech, Nium hopes to become a public company in 2 years. They're going public in the United States. So the $2 billion firm aims to go public in the U.S. by 2025 second quarter. So if you think about it, it's like just under 2 years. But when you go public, one of the things you have to do is you have to assemble a team, you have your accounting team, a lot of disclosures, a lot of work, and you show it to the SEC and they're like, everything seems fine. But then a couple years later, they go like, I think this is security. And then they give you a Wells notice and they go after you in court, kind of like what happened to Coinbase. But this is a little bit different with this organization. I'm making jokes, of course. But Project Nanu said in an interview with Bloomberg News posted on July 4th, which was yesterday. Happy birthday, America. Big celebration here yesterday. Adding he expects that Nium to break even within 12 months and reach profitability before its listing, which is always a good thing better to go public when you are a profitable company than if you're not, Jeff. I mean,
I like that. I like the next 18 months of ramp up. It's pretty cool to see another group that's focused in the payment space that is utilizing the XRPL and has this opportunity to go public. A lot of great things happening in the payment space. And guess what? It is not Bitcoin related, not Ethereum related, not Bitcoin related.
No.
And Gary Gensler is going to have to sit down and talk to them because he invited them. He said, why don't you guys come in and let's have a chat.
After they find the mysterious form on the SEC website to register. It's like, just go to the website, register, and then come on in and talk to us. And we'll tackle you at the door. We'll bind your mouth with duct tape, and then we'll read you the riot act. I mean, something along the lines. I thought this was interesting, too, because they asked the chief revenue officer, Frederick Crosby, and they said, like, hey, we get asked questions all the time, like, how has the recession hit you? What's going on with the volumes? And basically nothing's changed. He said Nium's success is buoyed by the fact that the company supports a variety of different business payments and services, and strength's been particularly pronounced in the payroll and freelance sectors, which has kind of got a little bit of boost after the event in 2020. There's still the pressing need when it comes to paying for these folks' services. So there you go.
It's amazing because reading that little paragraph there on how he came about putting all this together. So Nano had trouble moving money from India to Thailand when he was organizing a friend's bachelor party back in 2013. And it sounds very, similar to how I ended up discovering the crypto space, not investing in the crypto space, but discovering it back in about 2014 when I was also looking for a method to move money that wasn't tied to big fluctuations in exchange rates, like with the rupee. So,
yeah, similar story here. I mean, of course, I didn't found any payment company, but I had an Indian friend living in the UK, and we were with a newly launched startup, and we were bootstrapping it. So both of us were putting money in, and the best way for him to send money over to the States, the fastest way, was Bitcoin. Had a Bitcoin wallet. Took a little bit before the transaction went through. Maybe an hour and a half. Saw the transaction. Next day, you can move it to the bank account. That was the fastest way back in 2013. So, and it kind of made me a believer of Bitcoin because when he was telling me, like, I want to send a Bitcoin, I'm like, can you just like wire it? He goes, you're getting it in 5 days. Okay, that's not going to work. How do we get it here quicker? Download a wallet. And so that was the first time that I saw the use case. Of course, it's not the best use case today, but at the time, 5 days, 5 business days. So it could have been a really long time. So at that time, it's what made me more or less a believer. And I came to it from a Bitcoin maxi, and I came to the space transferring that knowledge from a Bitcoin maxi, kind of becoming more, wasn't really necessarily a maxi, but I was a believer in that it's Bitcoin, that's the only one. And because I remember asking, like, what do you think about Stellar or Ripple, bankers coins? I was like, wait a minute, but why are the bankers coins? They're not decentralized. Why are they not decentralized? So doing more homework and research about it is what kind of finally got me over the precipice there and jumped all in. But again, a lot of times people, listen, let's put it this way. Let's suppose in 2013 or 2012, you could have bought, let's say 50 or 100 Bitcoin, right? Didn't break the bank, but you bought 50. And then all of a sudden it hits the all-time high of 67,000. Are you all in on Bitcoin or are you all in on Bitcoin, right? I'm like, you become a millionaire and you're like, yeah, Bitcoin, right? So, and it's not too dissimilar with Ethereum. And that's why if you look at the NFT, some of the NFTs that move over in OpenSea, it is a multi-chain. They do Solana. They also do Polygon. They have other change, but predominantly 92%, 95% is all Ethereum. And when you actually go over there, you wouldn't expect to see on one of the XRPL exchanges, you wouldn't expect to see something selling for $11,000. Over there, it's like, hey, there's all these people that came into ETH, made a ton of money. They're swapping, they buy it, and they immediately post it, and they make a little bit on it. And they do this over and over again, drives the prices up. We see a little bit out of the XRPL, but the volume's not there.
It's so marginal.
It's
been so marginal on anything that's happening within XRP or the XRPL. But now, I think as you gain some traction with the XLS20, if we can see some development within the XRP.Cafe or on XRP, as far as platforms moving and selling NFTs that are built on the XRPL, I think you'll start seeing more expansion of the space. But you bring up some really solid points, in terms of, the direction of where Bitcoin was going, the direction of where Ethereum is going, the amount of projects built on Ethereum and how rapidly they rose to eminence, and, the amount of money that has been thrown around, and then XRP has been relatively stagnant over how many years. And so I'm looking, and so it's interesting too, because, just to try to workshop it and throw out some commentary with people that are in the chat, ideas like if you had $1,000 worth of XRP, because really, if you think about 2017, XRP was hovering in the 20 cent to 27 cents range. Now it's hovering in the 40 to 50 cent range. And we had been in the high 20s, in the 30s not that long ago. So it hasn't really moved, in any major direction since 2017, 2018, when it went over 3. We'd seen $1. And then obviously with the big lawsuit a couple years ago, we haven't seen anything close to $1 because it went the other direction. There was a lot of concern in the space, Coinbase, freezing, all those different things that led to the detrimental impact to XRP. So here we sit today. Where can it go back to? And that's how I'm looking at some of the commentary. And Station C4 actually says $1,000 worth of XRP would be 6,000 in 2025, even without reaching its all-time high. So it's going to be, it will be interesting. But if you think about if XRP at this moment can reach and exceed that $3 price point, things are going to start changing drastically. But in order for that to happen, it all has to go back to the adoption. It has to be about volume of utility of the XRPL, of XRP. See more of these projects. Let's see more expansion in the space. Let's see more expansion in the XLS20. I think we're in the beginning stages of something pretty amazing, Chip. As it migrates for the NFT and the options and opportunities of building in this, utilizing the XRPL. And there's actually a new company, we can get into that in a little while, also kind of focused in that direction, something to do with real estate. And so there's a lot of really cool things that are happening right now.
There's a couple of great things. I mean, there's a lot of great things that are happening, no doubt. No doubt is a lot of stuff happening. I think the coolest thing too is the whole idea. I mean, we feel like, you can buy NFTs over there on XRP.Cafe or on XRP. There's other ones out there as well. But it's only recent. I mean, you think about it, it's in recent times. I mean, OpenSea's been up there for years. And I always say, if you want to support the ecosystem, go, be part of it. Go buy it. We'd love you to buy it. We'd love you absolutely to go out and get a badass Yeti, but go over there and buy something. Maybe you connect with something else. The point is you want to be able to engage with the ecosystem you believe in. A lot of ways, support projects, support NFTs. People are like, oh, why would I buy an NFT? Well, you don't have to buy an NFT, but NFT is right now, people think of JPEGs, they think of PNGs. That's where it is today. That's where a lot of the adoption is today, but it's going in a cooler direction. So the way we think about NFTs today, and the whole idea of non-fungible token, to me, is kind of a weird thing. I hope we rename it. I mean, back in the early 90s, like mid 90s, it's like if you were like into the web and you were creating and rolling stuff on the web, you were a webmaster. Well, that didn't last long, right? It was like a webmaster or a web mistress, and like that was your official title until it wasn't. And people are like, that was a dumb idea to call it that. It's like, maybe we need to think about that. I think with NFTs too, we'll probably get there, Jeff. I'm thinking, I don't love the name.
NFT.
And I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's sort of, it'll get lost over time. But if you want to look at this right here, look at this was put out on July 4th, yesterday. But Stu Alderoty here, man, this is something.
Guy's always spot on.
He's always on. And he says a lot with very few words right here. But he put this tweet out there. He said, on July 4th, without consent of the legislature, swarms of officers, in parentheses, unelected bureaucrats, harass our people. Just one of the injustices the General Congress of the 13 United States of America rejected in 1776 in its unanimous declaration. Beautifully put. Great reminder. I love that Craig DeWitt from Supermojo said Stu's going full 1776 mode. And it couldn't be a better thing, Jeff. I mean, but again, it was rejected by the 13 original colony, states. The colonies became states, and it was absolutely outright rejected. So, but here we are again. Everything that's old is new again, or takes on a different form. And here we are dealing with it. And this is what happens when you get a bloated government. It just gets so big. you can't even manage anymore. And honestly, I bring this up just because it's recent history. Everybody went crazy when Elon Musk took Twitter. I don't care if you like the guy, hate the guy. I don't care. Point is that he purchases the company, I think overvalued, spent way too much. It never really was profitability. It was propped up by all kinds of stuff. It did have some advertising. A lot of the advertisers bailed because, oh, Elon Musk is bad and we don't like free speech. We like to talk about things that only we want to talk about, whatever. But he deleted 80% of the people, and people are like, Twitter's going to collapse under its own weight. It'll never make it. Has it had some issues? Yeah, but Jeff got rid of 80% of the people. We can get rid of 90% of the government, and I don't think anybody notices. I don't even think anybody cares. I mean, especially with automation, how did the government get larger over time when processes became automated? And this is what decentralization is, the real threat, is this whole idea of this decentralized. I mean, the U.S. was founded on decentralization, right? The power was to the states, Jeff, right? They didn't want a national, dictator or something. I mean, yeah, there are national laws that trump what happens in the states, but the idea was, hey, if you didn't like it in Florida, you can move to Texas. You didn't like Texas, you move to New York. Didn't like it in New York, you can move someplace else, because they all had their many forms of government. Of course, you had to respect the national laws, but again, there was a lot of things happening in the states before it became national law anyway. You could just go to that state and nobody thought about it. What do you think about this quote here?
I love it. I think it is super meaningful. One of the reasons we have this great country. And, at the end of the day, the premise was freedom. We celebrated, freedom, and this is, and we've talked about this so much when it comes to cryptocurrency and DeFi, and we need more decentralization in government. We need to cut out the bureaucracy. We need to cut out the fat. Even in these major corporations, like you just mentioned with Twitter, Elon Musk getting rid of 80% of the employment at Twitter, and it didn't even have a detrimental impact. It was actually better. And, one of the things he said, obviously, when you have people that are working as oversight and moderating people's speech and deleting and, and doing all sorts of negative things that are anti-freedom, you need a lot of people. Like in, the old Soviet Union, you need a lot of, people eavesdropping on others and making sure they listen to every conversation you had on your phone, making sure your neighbors were spying on neighbors, that sort of thing. And that's kind of where here you have like a Twitter that was spying on the public and telling people they were spreading misinformation, telling doctors that were spreading misinformation about medical things that these Twitter people had no clue of, but yet they would ban doctors on Twitter that were speaking the truth. And so decentralization and freedom go hand in hand, and they're extremely powerful. And this statement that Stuart Alderoty is referencing here, when he talks about these unelected bureaucrats that harass our people, and that's exactly till this day. And it's interesting, he uses that reference because Ripple is being harassed as an entity trying to build and do amazing things for the world and for moving money that helps everybody. XRP holders, are being harassed because the SEC specifically singled out XRP holders. One of the attorneys said some really negative things. Now there's an intervention with over 80,000 XRP holders that, to intervene in this crazy lawsuit that say, hey, the SEC is doing things that are wrong and we're all the collateral damage just because we see the future, we see the vision of it. And so this is our freedom. This is the moment. This is where we stand. And it's great. I'm so empowered by everybody that tunes into the show because we have people from all over the world that share the same passion, the same vision for their future.
Check.
And you don't necessarily have to be supported and live in this country or be a citizen of this country to benefit from the freedoms that a constitution can grant. And that's the most amazing thing, because if what the U.S. represents on a global scale is all about that. It's freedom and making sure that we stand up against tyranny. Unfortunately, when we suffer, the world suffers. And so, this is so, vital. I believe that, the decentralized aspect of things can bring freedom all over the world. I mean, that was the whole concept of the Constitution too, right? To tell the government what they can't do. Let's hold them in check. Let's allow the people to regulate in themselves, Chip.
Yeah, by the way,
DeFi.
DeFi, decentralized finance. Jeff, it's so funny that I got into somebody the other day on Twitter. Not you guys know my Twitter, but somebody had put something up about they were talking about a country that reduced the tax on, I don't remember the country. There's too much stuff to consume, but they said, hey, it went from something like 36% down to 9% tax in crypto. Well, if you think about that, it's a great thing. It's not because they're lowering it, but what will that do? That will attract people who believe in economic freedom, and they'll move to that country or set up residency in that country. Let's suppose you're a big, a Maxine, whatever. You're a multi-million. You want to make sure that when you spend it, you're not giving away 40%, but only 8 or 9%. So it's a very smart way to do that. And I said, hey, like what is what's their constitution like? That was the first thing I wanted to know. The other person came back with like, well, it's the same as the EU. And I was like, oh, that's the one. That's the constitution that tells you all the power the government has over the people. And then the next comment was, yeah, but no guns. And I was like, yeah, but that's one thing holding it all together is that stalwart against the potential tyranny. I mean, let's face it. If the U.S. falls, I'm not saying it's going to, but let's suppose it falls. Do you think the rest of the world's going to stand up and say like, hey, freedom? Or do you think it's going to get trounced by, China or whatever the next prevailing, country is? I just don't think that the 2A is about one of the few things that's kind of keeping it hinging just there. They keep trying to take them away. They've done it in Australia. They've done it in other places. But if you read history and in all the places where they've done that, what happens next. You don't need a manual. It's always the same at some point. And what turns there, I was going to say this, and Steve Willis put this up. 1776, Captain Hook was off the coast of Queensland.
Captain Cook.
And then Mark Phillips brings this point up. He says, Chip, automation was supposed to make work easier, but it just made more work. The same with government. To some degree, I do believe that. But I also believe that it depends on the type of automation, right? And what's inherently, I think, at fault here is that all organizations, they need help, but the larger they grow and the more they scale teams, the less productive everybody becomes as a whole, because it becomes this red tape involved. It doesn't matter how much. So smaller and more nimble is always going to be better to some degree. But I know I've been through the growth spurts. We started a company and I'm the 12th person hired. And we scaled up to 140 people. The company wasn't running as efficient as when it had 30 or 40 people, and it just slows everything down. Things get lost in translation.
Really tough.
Decentralized life is on the menu, says Sean Thompson.
It is on the menu. Voting. We put voting into a decentralized network, into a framework with a purposeful checks and balance, without all the human intervention screwing things up. It could be really amazing. We need a clean system to make that happen, to clean up the voting rolls through all the different systems would have to be interconnected somehow in order to have a proper DeFi voting infrastructure. But Chip, before we move on to this other topic, I want to bring this up, and this is cool. This Bill Morgan posted this. There's this company here called AUDD that's going to be using, something's tapping. they'll be using. That's
Is
you.
that-
You're the one tapping.
I think that's why my
I can
mic's
hear
working.
that.
I think that's why my mic's working because I don't think Chris was on.
I don't think so. I was having so many problems with Chris, remember? And now I have
my
no
mic
problems
was
with Chris.
My mic was all messed up, and I'm gonna try to turn
It's
it
Chris.
on. You guys hear
It's
it.
Chris. Chris screws shit up. So, so this AUDD will be on the XRPL. Although now this is where, I started having some issue with some of these companies because here they're building on the XRPL, utilizing the XRPL, utilizing Stellar, but they still reference Ripple as the blockchain. I don't know. I feel like this is like from a couple years ago, this post here. But I saw it, then I said, oh, they just posted this thing like earlier. They have this whole thing, but in this release here, so Stellar, the XRP ledger, Ethereum, but here it's blockchain agnostic, which is cool. At launch, will be available on two of the most reputable commercial blockchains, Stellar and Ripple. I mean, why couldn't they come out in their press release and say the XRPL or XRP, our intention is to add AUDD to Ethereum and further blockchains on case-by-case basis. This will give AUDD the ability to facilitate transactions with nearly every currency in the world, be it crypto or fiat. What are your thoughts on this? Is this a good thing or a bad thing that companies keeps utilizing Ripple as the blockchain interchangeable for the XRPL?
Yeah, I like anything that's agnostic. I think agnostic is a good thing. I like the interoperability, the whole idea there, and I think that ultimately the Stellar was originally like a fork, but it's not as powerful as the XRPL. So it's somewhat there. But I think anything that's blockchain agnostic is good. And I think that you bring in, if you're at some point, it will become so obvious that you'll use the XRPL to move almost everything, right? All kinds of transactions, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Bitcoin. It just makes the most sense. It's why Spend the Bits is a phenomenal way to move it. The Lightning Network, not so much, right? So there's a lot of good stuff here. I was going to throw this story up here
Pretty
next.
cool.
Yeah, that's pretty. So 24 Hours in Crypto put this up. This is huge, massive spike in daily burn rate. 30 days ago, XRP's total supply was, what is that, 99,998,863,500, whatever. Total supply is 99,988,616. And so basically the point here was 247,000 XRP was burned and gone forever in 30 days. About 8,233 a day, which goes perfectly with the below 24-hour burn rate. The number can change to 5K, 7K per 24 hours, and the trillions flow in. However, this number will decrease with the value of XRP goes up. So $100 of XRP is inevitable. Yeah, it is. I just don't know if I'll be alive to see it, but I think it is inevitable at some point, right? If it's still around. I've been tracking this click below, but not so fast, because bringing Hugh Neil Hartner, who is one of the chief programmers over there on the ODL, he said he had to knock this down a little bit. And Neil said that this is mostly the result of the XRPL account deletion. So each count deletion burns 2 XRP. And in June of 2023, Polynex deleted 85,566 old XRP accounts, which burned 171,132 XRP. And then they have finished deleting the accounts. So there you go. So it's like bringing a little bit of a reality check to that. It's not there. There's a big reason why that was showing up as such. It's a lot of, that's 171,000 XRP is a lot to burn, Jeff.
So it's a lot to burn. So the other question is, when you close a wallet, right? And remember years ago, I had made a video on the having an XRP wallet, right? So one of the things that has to happen is that there's 20 XRP typically that was put on to the side in order to open up, back in the day, to open up an XRP wallet. What happened to all of that? Like, where did all that XRP go? So there was 20. So all these wallets that had opened back in the day, there was 20 XRP. Where did that XRP go? For all of these, how is it 2 XRP and not 20 XRP? for abandoned wallets if depending on how long they've been sitting around.
Yeah, I mean, why would you burn all that anyway? Why wouldn't you? Yeah, I get that's part of the thing though, is like you can't close the wallet without burning it. I don't remember, Jeff. It's been so long since I remember, but yeah, that's what they did. They closed those wallets down and burned them all out. But I thought there was a way to recover that. I thought there was something instituted. Maybe somebody that will remember who's watching, either drop a comment. But I do believe there was a way to sort of close an account and resurrect that, because part of it was, I think your video talked about like, well, it would become prohibitive to at 20 XRP. Suppose it's $20 each. Then who's going to open up a wallet? It's like it's too expensive. The whole idea was to cut out spammers. That's why they had a reserve. But I thought there was something that was instituted that allowed you to do that.
So Hansa's saying that 10 of the 20 was added back to your balance from the reserve. So you still lost 10 XRP. But think about that period of time. I remember watching, so getting in at 17 cents, you're getting your wallet. It wasn't such a big deal. And then when it went over $3, all of a sudden that wallet was $60. You were putting $60 into, in order to open up an XRP wallet. So, and that's interesting. We have to go back and look at verification on that one, how you got it back. And if it was 10, then that means that in each one of those burned wallets, there should have been 10 XRP and not 2 XRP. But I'm more interested in seeing how many trillions of SHIB they're going to burn versus how many XRP are being burned.
Yeah, so the XRP ledger has a 2 XRP fee to delete an account in addition to the regular transaction fee. So that's what, so that means after you delete your account, you should receive about 8 XRP from your 10 XRP base reserve.
So you get it back. Somehow you get the reserve back. But if it's an abandoned wallet, how are you getting it back? So if they're burning wallets that people abandoned, that means that were people actually getting their reserve back? Or did they abandon those wallets? That's all I was, referencing. It's good that all these little things they had to change if you had XRP wallets roaming around out there.
Okay, so this is it right here. Let's put this back up here. So I just found this. This is some. And it says, so sending the base reserve to a non-custodial wallet. If you'd like to send the base reserve to another non-custodial wallet, make sure the wallet supports account delete transaction. If they're wisely using some, then you're good to go, since we support all transaction action types in the XRPL.
That's good too. Right.
So, but many other wallets do not. So that's another kind of a great point of it, using some. So you have like, you opened up another account, or you wanted to close that account out, you could actually send that to your other wallet and not have it
send all of it.
Right, but I mean, like, how many people are going to know if your wallet supports account delete transaction?
Yeah, I don't know. And what about the exchanges? Can you move all of it off the exchange? I mean, I believe you can. So if you're on an exchange like that,
right, but an exchange, you have a tag, so it's in a wallet with a tag on it, where the sum doesn't require a tag because it has its own unique address. But that was the other big thing. People were moving it and they were blowing off the tag, and it just went to the base wallet on an exchange, let's say. Then you had to dig through BitHome to see where the transaction at the time when it left your wallet, and then sometimes you could recover it. That happens sometimes, but that tag was that location so it was a general wallet address with a tag after it. I thought that became ridiculously confusing for a lot of things. So can I activate a new account with the account delete transaction? A new account on the XRP ledger cannot be activated by the account delete transaction. So if you try to do this, it would be rejected. So the bottom line is you have to create a new account and then send that when you close out the other one, but designate the other one that's where your base is going to go. Again, another thing we weren't planning on going, but we got there.
There's all these things to think about, though. Yeah, and that's what Legendary is saying. If Legendary said, I'm going to sell some of my wallets cheap when XRP takes off, or sell them not cheap. So maybe it's kind of like Doc Chip. Maybe we should be acquiring XRP wallets. Let's put a whole bunch on the side.
What are you going to do with that?
I don't know.
Maybe
they'll be super valuable one day, and then they'll change it. They'll amend it again. They'll be like, it's free. You get free wallets.
Yeah, that's it. That must be it. That must be it. Huh.
free
How they
wallets
say.
with some free XRP. How about some free Flare and some free Songbird and all that other stuff? Someone said that they have Songbird and Flare locked up somewhere. It was iReal Media has about 1,500 Songbird and 1,500 Flare in a locked wallet.
Interesting, Jeff. Interesting.
This is the other part about the crypto space that scares off kind of the mainstream consumer that goes into a bank and you just have your money there. You don't worry about it. If you want to move your money to another bank, even though you have to wait, do all this, jump through hoops and all this stuff and spin around a few times, they'll let you take all your money. You don't have to worry about, does it get burned? Do you have to have the reserve? Do you have to do all this stuff? How do you figure it out? All these little details. And that's where the bank side of it, that's where the exchange is. I think, why Gary Gensler is going after the exchanges, because the exchanges made it so much easier for the people.
Easier.
Coinbase.
We can't have easy, Jeff. There's got to be some problem. But I just wanted to take
easy,
1 minute.
Easy squeezy.
1 minute to say that On the Chain is brought to you today by Badass Yetis Coffee. You can get a beautiful cup of Badass Yetis cup to awaken that badass Yeti in you. We just rolled out K-Cups for our Brood Awakening. I'll just pop on this really quick. But there's the K-Cup selection right there. And as you can see, this Yeti is ready. He's up. He's ready. He's got that coffee cup and he's ready to go. But Brood Awakening unleash that inner Yeti every morning with our invigorating breakfast blend. Jeff, we've got a couple.
Good.
We got a couple of good. Hey, Aaron.
Chip said hi. Said hey.
Yeah, you got the wave. Got the wave.
You scored twice. Oh, congratulations.
Sweet.
Good job.
Almost just
Nice.
missed that hat trick though. Very good though.
Yeah.
And guys, there's two ways to buy too. Is like if you really dig it, we got a really Mike Morath. He tweeted out something really nice as well. Said, "Man, really amazing cup of coffee." We've gotten all kinds of reviews on it, and the reason for it, guys, is only because it is brewed to order. So your order comes in,
Fresh.
the beans are roasted, sent out the next day. That's it. Not sitting on a shelf for 6 to 12 months. I thought I knew. I mean, Jeff and I drink good coffee.
Badass. Dude, it's so good. It is really, really amazing. So Mike Morath is saying, get you some Yeti coffee, badass Yeti coffee. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, Mike tweeted out a nice thing the other day, and he was. I want to find his tweet. DM it to me, Mike. DM your tweet to you that you tweeted out that. By the way, he did some kind of a photo shoot where he had everything like perfectly laid out. He had the bag, he had the coffee cup, he had the stove in the background, he had the stovetop player. I was like, man, that was like a little photo shoot he had going on there. But if you DM that to me right now, I'll go ahead and I'll put it on screen. But yeah, this is the evolution of starting a project. Started off with the Badass Yetis. We didn't want it to be a one-off Yeti project, which it probably won't, because there's many tribes coming along. We also announced the fact that if you own a Blue Tribe Yeti, if you own one, you are going to get a White Tribe when they drop. If you own 3 to 5, you will get 2 White Tribe Badass Yetis. And if you own 6 or more, you'll get 3 White Tribe members. The White Tribe Badass Yetis have all different properties. Very cool. A lot of fun to create, and really looking forward to that launch. But anyway, Jeff, why don't you drop that link in there? I'm gonna find out we have a 5% off. We have a 5%.
Got it. Scrolling across the thing right here.
Well, here, let me do this. Let me drop this into the chat, because if you click on this link, you get 5% off.
Oh.
If you guys own a Badass Yeti,
that's not the one.
You get 10%. If you own 2, if you own 3 or more, you get 15, and if you own 6 or more, you get 20% off. So
drop it.
Right there's the 5. Click on that link, 5% you'll get when you check out.
Yeah, that's right. You just go to the link, it'll take you and get the 5% off. That is very, very cool. So Chip, I want to talk about the XRPL a little bit more, just a little bit more before we talk about and get into Bitcoin and all that good stuff that Bitcoin has to do. Check this out. So we dig into this. brand new, hot off the presses, Ripple XRP ledger making history with the introduction of the first mortgage-backed stablecoin. Now, this is big because the stablecoin is backed by mortgages, by real estate. It's a whole different approach on it. It's interesting. It's innovative. So it says the innovative stablecoin dubbed Home is set to redefine the landscape of mortgage financing and offer homeowners better and more accessible options. So it could be interesting. It's kind of developing a potential peer-to-peer methodology of lending money into the real estate space. Could be interesting, could blow up and be really, really bad, could blow up, be really, really good, something unique. Developed by RWA Protocol, this groundbreaking innovation will revolutionize the mortgage industry by unlocking new products for homeowners and other market participants using the utility token Home offered on the XRPL, which is very cool. We're talking about tokens development utilizing the XRPL. The community can benefit from the stability and growth potential of mortgages, which offer a steady stream of reliable income, which would then. Now, here's the question. So if it's a stable coin, that would then, and it's backed by mortgages, does it stable out at $1? Because it would have to be stable to something. It's not pegged, but it's stable. What are your thoughts on this, Chip? Because mortgages, the whole thing, tying in to back a stable coin, to back an asset, good, bad, or indifferent?
Keep talking, Jeff, 'cause I'm trying to find something about this, and I don't remember. I remember
That'd be
seeing
good.
something.
Hopefully you can find something because you have a good, in-depth background in this space also. But here's some of the benefits of that. We'll really have to dig into this protocol a little more. I want to get into instead of an article, we'll dig into their site. But transparency on the loans backing the coin based on a ledger, all over collateralized loans back in the coin may be viewed on the blockchain. Interesting. Current return about 2 to 5%. The loans backing Home generate a 2 to 5% return from borrowers repaying the loans without incentives. Loans are backed by Home's worth. So this is interesting. Every loan is over collateralized, with the average loan in the pool backing Home is being over collateralized by about 30% or more. Assets and the creation of loans are decentralized. Assets backing Home are distributed around the U.S. The platform is open to any loan officer to originate loans as well as financial institutions. Now, if we talk about the banking space on moving money as a competitive marketplace, this mortgage marketplace is even more competitive, but moving into a decentralized peer-to-peer type of scenario. I like this idea of being able to leverage the value of real estate to back a digital asset and to find a mechanism where people are able to get value and get a return, hopefully that asset being staked, and get a return based off of people repaying their mortgage, because obviously there has to be an interest on that as well. But this could be very interesting, could put a huge amount of competition back and flip everything, the whole narrative on its head, especially with rising mortgage rates in that 6 plus 7% plus space. Bring it back to P2P, kind of decentralized, and find a mechanism with staking and all these other things baked into it, with the valuation of both commercial and residential. I mean, this thing could blow up. This could do as much or more for real use case as we see with RippleNet trying to attack Swift and change the way Swift does things. This could be changing the way people get their mortgages. What do you think overall? Good, bad, or indifferent?
I think that we're gonna have a little mini session here. It's not my mouse. I'm on a Macintosh. On a PC, which stands for perpetually complicated, and Jeff moves his mouse all over, then it creates the strobe effect.
Yep.
Alan, just know that that's Jeff doing that. Okay, it's not me. Just letting you know. I see it too, but I don't know why it does that. It might be something with your. I don't
Strobes
know
are
if
cool. It happens with everybody. I think it's a StreamYard thing.
It can be, but look at this right here. So Mike sent this to me. Oh my God, I just had my first cup of Badass Yeti coffee. I'm blown away. I'm in heaven with this perfect blend. Scared to try the other Badass Yeti flavors, and I'm spoiled already. And look at this photo right here.
Look at that.
Badass Yeti coffee. You got the fine ground, which is great. It's got the cup, the Speedway cup already ready to go. And there's the Italian stovetop coffee maker on the back, on the stove at the same time. So there it is right there. And you got the right one too, the fine ground, pack it in there. Man, how amazing was that? So this, he put the order in. Next day they roasted it, they ground the beans, they packaged it, they sent it to him. A couple days later, he's having freshly ground coffee. None of this. And people go like, well, I can go to the grocery store and grind the beans too. Yeah, but those beans have been sitting there for 6 to 8 months to a year plus. And you can tell by if you get the whole bean, you can tell on that directly. But thank you for that beautiful, kind words right there, Mike.
There's all sorts of issues with this whole stablecoin thing, but do you lose your home if your NFTs get hacked?
Proppy does it now, though. Proppy is sold houses and NFTs that record on the blockchain. I mean, at some point, every legacy institution goes through an overhaul, and they fight tooth and nail. They scream, first they laugh at you, they fight you, and then they adopt. So it takes a little bit of time.
It takes time.
And Proppy's been around for what, 5-6 years? It seems like a while. They weren't the first ones to do it. They won't be the last ones, but.
So this one is a little bit different because they are backing the value with the real estate, the value of the token. They're flipping the narrative, the script on that one too.
Yeah.
I can't find anything on it though. Been trying to dig in and look for more details other than the article, but I like
some more color on that, but I couldn't find it either, Jeff.
I just like the direction. I like the idea, whether it's happening or not. The idea is amazing. Like you said, Proppy's been, doing it. I want to see this happen at, kind of an exponential rate. The other idea that it's being, offered on the XRPL, hopefully utilizing the XLS20 and all those other great things. Really, really good.
So there appears to be, how we have the big brouhaha between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, right? They're going to get into a ring, and they're going to fight, whatever. It's fun. It's fun to think about it. And who cares? I mean, let them go batch it out, who knows? But I saw this. So it looks like the Winklevoss twins, specifically Cameron, is calling Barry Silbert out. And I think this might end up becoming a cage match. I'm not sure you're going to read that or not, but this could be some kind of like one of those cage match things here. But Cameron Winklevoss said, earn update, an open letter to Barry Silbert. He wrote this whole big letter. Barry marks 229 days since Genesis halted withdrawals and 174 days. I wrote it up to open letter to you. And as a reminder, blah, blah, blah. And as you know, he goes on, DCG Enterprise engaged in fraudulent. He calls them mad and fraudulent, calls everything out, and he says, if you don't agree to this deal by 4 p.m. Eastern time, which is on July 6th, which is tomorrow, we'll proceed with the following steps. We're going to file a lawsuit against DCG and him personally. We're going to file a turnover motion, advance a non-custodial consensual plan, and UCC litigation. John Deaton basically said, look, I read your open letter, and as someone who files lawsuits, my question is, if you can prove the claims, why not just file the damn suit? I learned a long time ago in a moment of crisis when integrity and honor mean everything, and someone shows you who they really are, take him at his word and at his actions. Understood, but I think maybe what John missed, though, is the idea is that Cameron is giving Barry Silbert a chance, right? He's giving him a shot. Nobody wants to go litigate stuff. It's expensive. Nobody wants to do it. And he says the lawsuit will be filed on July 7th. Incidentally, my birthday, Jeff. Just want to let you know.
All right.
And among other things, a personal liability and hiding Genesis insolvency. And then you can provide a blueprint for the 232,000 earn users to commence similar actions. So then this one went up, and this is it. Hey, Barry Silbert, I'd like to invite you to a Twitter space. Barry didn't bite on that one, right? On the open letter, Jeff was like, didn't go anywhere near that. So it was like, Cameron's like, next day, okay, hey, Barry Silbert, I'd like to invite you to a Twitter Spaces. Let's discuss our best and final offer. No lawyers, no advisors, just friends, Jeff. We're all friends. I know earn users would love to hear from you, and you can be the first to tell them that you're accepting the deal. Let me know when you're free. And here it is right here. Here's the best and final offer. So forbearance payment, $275 million due on plan support agreement, the PSA effective date, which will be on or before July 21st, which is 2 weeks away, basically. $355 million due in 2 years from the PSA effective date, denominated in 40% USD, 40% Bitcoin, and 20% ETH. Bitcoin and ETH valued on PSA effective date.
And the rest in XRP.
Right? No, that ain't going to happen either. Then he goes on to say that the tranche 2, the debt, $835 million due in 5 years from the PSA, runs through the denominations. In total, $1.465 billion. Sale proceeds, DCG retains all proceeds from the sale of Genesis Global Trading. Creditors retain all proceeds from the sale of other Genesis company. Three Arrows Capital, all parties reserve their rights with respect to Three Arrows Capital and all recovery and blah, blah, blah. So something tells me, Jeff, this isn't going to happen. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't see it happening. It's kind of crazy though. He started out with this super, super long encyclopedia letter. Guaranteed he didn't read that letter. It was so long.
I didn't read it.
You could see the small print on the screen, and it was 2 pages. It was way too long. And then the next, he comes out with a tweet. The tweet was very succinct, very straight to the point. It was perfect. I would like to, have seen some more feedback, but why not? Why not? Why wouldn't he, why would he turn down, and why not come onto a Twitter Spaces and have an in-depth conversation? I think it'd be great. Let's see what happens. He probably won't. And that is that. And Apex is saying the same thing. Winklevoss post is a stunt, a brilliant stunt.
It is a brilliant stunt.
He called him to the mat and said, "Here you go."
Publicly.
That's yeah.
He gave him an out. In other words, if you do what you were supposed to do, that'll be your out. And in the way he's basically saying, he's basically making everybody aware of what's transpired, and then he's going to go sue him anyway. But did give him a chance. Wrote an open letter. I only read the bullet points, to be honest. I don't even know what the rest of it said. But bullet points were like that. Yeah, that.
The bullet points were interesting. The rest of it was all the fluff.
It's flub.
This is what's interesting, though. That volume, the sheer volume. I don't think I've seen back-to-back, stacked up, just nonstop, piling into the U.S. like that.
It is going fantastically big, right? I mean, it's fantastic.
Look at the number of trades just in the past minute. 222,000.
That can't be right. In the last minute?
Yeah. Now it's 160 that your minute's up.
Wow.
It's crazy. I don't even know some of these. How about P to PBB, PB, DigiFinex? There's some BitTrue going on there. KuCoin, Bitforex. There's all sorts of things flying through there. Bitso. Very interesting.
Yeah, so so big congratulations is in order for XRP Cafe. RippleX put out their list of first cohorts of projects and startups in their XRPL Accelerator program.
That's big.
And here's the 10 projects, and one of the projects was XRP.Cafe, and they said they're thrilled to announce that they've been selected to join the XRPL Accelerator program by RippleX. I want to thank RippleX Dev and XRPL community, which is you guys, for your support. We also look forward to contributing to the XRPL, which they've done a great job. And again, that's where the badass Yetis, you go over to XRP.Cafe, just type in badass Yetis, and you will see, there it is right there. Yeah, if you type it in there, Jeff, show them how it's done. Show them. There it is. Badass. There it is.
You don't even have to spell it right. You see that?
Well.
See that? Again. So that's how it comes up.
Click on it. There you go.
Plus a mistyping. 58% have been minted of the Blue Tribe. Lots of cool stuff happening here with the blue tribe. Everybody's getting ready for the white tribe. But anyhow, XRP.Cafe, which is the point, want to highlight that. Super easy platform to use. So if you're fired up about NFTs, you want to go check them out. Check out XRP.Cafe. Just real simple. You go check out their stats. You can look at the collections. You can kind of see where, the change, the daily change, the 6-hour change, 30-day. You can kind of see what's going on in the space. You can create, if you wanted to create an NFT, there you go. You can create a collection, and you can even create a one-off, create one-on-one NFTs with your artwork. So if you have something very specific and you want to post it up there, you have an option. A lot of cool stuff over on
Lots
XRP.
of cool stuff. And then I just want to remind everybody too is that the
Cafe,
promotion we're running right now, and somebody brought out the white tribe, which is coming soon. If you own a badass Yeti, if you own one of the blue tribes, if you own one, you're going to get one dropped to you on the and also if you own 3 blue tribe members, which there's a lot of you out there, you will get 2 white tribe Yetis. And if you own 6 or more, you're going to end up with 3 white tribe Yetis. Those are very cool. Just like everything we do as far as the badass Yetis is concerned. So really looking forward to that, guys. I think that's pretty much all we have tonight, Jeff. I don't know, I don't think there's anything else. I think that might be it. How about this one? This is good. FTX says, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
Huh.
I mean, who are they going to appeal to, Jeff, if they come back? This is the best thing ever. It's like, yeah, FTX is back. FTX 2.0. Don't worry. All that stuff behind, not a big deal. We're back. Or like, it's cool. But if you remember, Jeff, the mayor, Barry from Washington, D.C., was basically doing blow off of the, in the office there and just like got caught and everything. And then to become a mayor again. I mean, anything's possible, Jeff. You can pretty much do almost anything. And I don't know. I think anything is potentially possible. And that was, what are you going to do?
What you going to do? What you going to do?
Today. It's like either a microphone problem or freezing. Software is too much for me sometimes. It's just too much.
So we got there's a lot of cool things happening overall, and you guys heard it all here first. We'll be back here again because you guys are the best and the brightest in all of YouTube crypto space, everywhere, the whole space, the whole YouTube crypto space. We'll be back here. I can't believe it's Wednesday. The week's flying by. It's almost over. We'll be back with you guys Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then again, Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Wednesday, that's tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, it's been a pleasure and amazing. You guys are awesome. And we look forward to seeing you all on the next one. You got some cool JT XRP with a great coverage of the XRPL. Thanks, guys. A lot of cool stuff here. And that's it. All we got. All we got,
guys. See you on the next one. Chip and Jeff.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.